A major controversy rocks the sport as NASCAR files a countersuit against 23XI Racing and Front Row Motorsports, alleging illegal cartel behavior. Could this legal battle reshape the future of team ownership and revenue sharing? Plus, what this means for Michael Jordan's team, Curtis Polk's involvement, and how the wider NASCAR community is reacting. Stay tuned for all the latest developments in this high-stakes drama. NASCAR has taken an aggressive stance in the ongoing dispute over the charter system, countersuing 23XI Racing and Front Row Motorsports. The lawsuit, filed earlier this week, accuses the teams, along with Curtis Polk, a key figure in Michael Jordan's business empire and part owner of 23XI Racing, of forming an illegal cartel to manipulate the business dealings of the sport. The move escalates a legal confrontation that began in late 2024 when 23 and Front Row accused NASCAR of monopolistic practices and an unfair revenue-sharing model. By claiming the charters are illegal agreements, plaintiffs have opened Pandora's box. If the charters are deemed to be anti-competitive, then either charters will go away entirely or the cross-exclusivities that benefited both parties will be eliminated. This is not the first time that 23XI and FRM have sought to impose their viewpoints and those of their counsel on the racing teams writ large, and it is truly ironic that in trying to blow up the charter system, 23XI and FRM have sought to weaponize the antitrust laws to achieve their goals. The conflict traces back to the charter system, which was introduced in 2016 as a way to provide teams with financial stability by guaranteeing entry into races. This system allows teams to sell, transfer, or lease their charters, similar to a franchise model, ensuring long-term viability and investment security. However, as negotiations for an updated charter agreement intensified, 23XI Racing and Front Row Motorsports became vocal opponents, refusing to accept NASCAR's proposed terms. They claimed the governing body exerted excessive control over revenue distribution and made it difficult for teams to remain financially sustainable in the long run. In October 2024, the two teams took the bold step of filing an antitrust lawsuit against NASCAR. The suit alleged that the organization's monopolistic grip on the sport left them with no alternative but to comply with an unfair system. According to the lawsuit, NASCAR's business practices limited financial opportunities for teams while maximizing profits for itself and its partners. The legal action sent shockwaves through the NASCAR paddock, marking one of the most significant challenges to the governing body's authority in modern history. NASCAR's response came swiftly and aggressively. In its countersuit, the organization argued that 23XI Racing and Front Row Motorsports were not only acting out of self-interest, but were actively trying to disrupt negotiations to gain leverage. NASCAR claims that the teams engaged in coordinated efforts to block the new charter agreements, interfere with crucial broadcast negotiations, and even organize boycotts against the sport. The lawsuit describes these actions as a deliberate attempt to create instability and force NASCAR into financial concessions, branding them as the behavior of an illegal cartel. The stakes couldn't be higher. NASCAR's legal action seeks triple damages from 23XI and Front Row, and if the dispute continues unresolved, it could result in the revocation of their charters, which would strip the teams of their guaranteed starting positions. For 23XI Racing, a team co-owned by NBA legend Michael Jordan, this could mean a catastrophic setback. The team, which has grown rapidly since its debut in 2021, fields cars for Bubba Wallace and Tyler Reddick, and has become one of the most recognizable organizations in the sport. Losing its charter status would place its future in jeopardy, potentially forcing it to compete on a race-by-race basis without the financial security that the charter system provides. Curtis Polk, who serves as a key advisor to Michael Jordan and is deeply involved in the business side of 23XI Racing, is at the center of the controversy. NASCAR claims Polk played a leading role in orchestrating the resistance against the new charter deal, using his influence to rally support from other teams. Polk, however, has defended 23XI Racing's position, stating that the team is merely advocating for fairer revenue distribution and long-term security for all teams in the garage. According to him, the current model favors NASCAR disproportionately, while teams who shoulder most of the costs struggle to remain financially competitive. According to NASCAR, this was one of the anti-competitive behaviors discussed throughout the document and a false depiction. NASCAR was harmed as a result of the collusive, threatening, and damaging behavior of counterclaim defendants, the filing reads. These activities resulted in reputational and brand damage at a time when NASCAR was attempting to renew its most important revenue stream, its media rights. Although NASCAR recognizes the value the charter model has brought to charter teams and is certainly willing to continue with the model on the terms mutually agreed to, NASCAR now finds itself in the ironic position of having to defend a model that NASCAR never asked for in the first place, and which it would be content not to have. The Race Team Alliance, RTA, an independent organization representing multiple NASCAR teams, has largely remained silent on the countersuit, though it has previously voiced concerns about the economic model of the sport. The RTA has long argued that NASCAR's revenue-sharing structure needs to evolve to ensure teams can operate sustainably, particularly in an era where sponsorship deals are harder to secure. While some teams have signed on to NASCAR's new charter agreement, others are watching the lawsuit closely, recognizing that its outcome could have profound implications for their future business dealings. The legal battle has divided the NASCAR community. Some see NASCAR's countersuit as a necessary move to maintain control over the sport and prevent teams from gaining too much influence over the business side of operations. Others argue that 23 and Front Row are raising valid concerns about the financial sustainability of teams, and that NASCAR's response is an attempt to silence dissenting voices rather than address systemic issues. Finally, NASCAR accuses 23XI and FRM with participating in a conspiracy in agreement in unreasonable restraint of interstate trade and commerce using the aforementioned tactics, so violating the Sherman Act. In addition to directly naming Polk, they claim that he knowingly and actively orchestrated and participated in this illegal conspiracy, while working as a member of the TNC on behalf of the RTA and aiding 23XI's and Front Row's participation in the scheme. Beyond the courtroom, the scandal has created tension in the paddock with the 2025 season underway. The uncertainty surrounding 23XI Racing's status has added an extra layer of drama. While drivers like Bubba Wallace and Tyler Reddick focus on their on-track performance, the off-track legal battle looms large. Sponsors and stakeholders are also closely monitoring the situation, as any changes to the charter system could impact long-term investments in NASCAR teams. As the legal proceedings continue, speculation is growing about potential resolutions. Could NASCAR and 23XI Racing reach a settlement, or will this case go to trial, setting a major legal precedent in motorsports governance? If the court rules in favor of 23XI and Front Row, it could force NASCAR to make substantial changes to its business model, potentially giving teams more power in negotiations. On the other hand, if NASCAR wins, it would reaffirm its control over the sport and send a strong message that dissent against its structure comes at a high cost. With the next court hearing set for later this year, all eyes remain on this high-profile clash between one of the biggest names in sports and one of the most powerful organizations in motorsports. The outcome could shape the future of NASCAR for years to come, determining whether teams will have greater influence over financial decisions or whether NASCAR will retain its centralized control. One thing is for certain, this is more than just a legal battle, it's a fight for the future of NASCAR. As the 2025 season unfolds, the tension both on and off the track is reaching new heights, ensuring that this controversy will remain a major storyline in the months ahead. That's all for today's edition of NASCAR News. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for all the latest updates from the world of stock car racing. See you next time.